Hello, my friend, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Daily. My name is Aaron Mashpitz. So the four big title matches for WrestleMania are squared away. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, Stephanie McMahon, Liv Morgan, and Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill. So, of course, people are mad about this decision and that decision, and they're criticizing Triple H and all of this stuff, and the women should main event, and Cody Rhodes shouldn't be in there, and all this yada, 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 yada. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton and CM Punk versus Roman Reigns are absolutely massive main event matches. Now, I'm not the biggest fan in the world of Cody Rhodes. There may be an argument to be made that he's kind of a forced top guy, but you kind of force all of your guys to the top. Roman Reigns was forced, John Cena was forced, and then by the very end, they were beloved and some of the greatest of all time. Roman Reigns currently is. So you can make that argument about Cody Rhodes, but eventually at some point people are going to be like, "Oh man, he was peak, that was awesome." And some people still do absolutely love Cody Rhodes. I've made a bunch of videos saying that I was kind of sick and tired of him being in the title picture, but it is what it is because the best case scenario was Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, because the storytelling and the history between those two, and to deny the fact that that's an absolutely massive main event to two of the biggest stars in the industry is a fucking joke. And then, yes, I don't even like CM Punk at all. I think he's a fraud and a con artist. But also to deny his star power is ridiculous as well. And Roman Reigns is the god of WWE. And for them to be squared away in a match, if it's anything as good as the triple threat was last year with Seth Rollins, then this is going to absolutely blow the roof off the fucking building. And of course, those two matches should main event night one and main event night two. There's not even an argument to be made for the other two matches, which are women's matches, which are not even close in star power. But, of course, people get mad about everything all the time, no matter what. And Bleacher Report, from this tweet that I'm about to read to you, Bleacher Report criticized Triple H's booking direction for WrestleMania 42 after Cody Rhodes won the Undisputed title on SmackDown most recently. And they said, Cody Rhodes lost his title, then lost the Royal Rumble, then lost the Elimination Chamber, and now is the champion anyway. So explain that. There is an argument to be made about that, and there was also a contract obligation between that he wouldn't get another title shot as long as Drew McIntyre was champion. So yes, there's a long list of sort of potential grievances as to why Cody Rhodes is still the champion, or why he became champion, and why he's carrying that title into WrestleMania. Yes, there's arguments to be made and normal logical discussions to have about the booking, the direction, and the legitimacy of that. I would have loved to see Drew McIntyre jump in there as jump into WrestleMania as the champion. That would fire me up. I love Drew McIntyre, and he's a fantastic, fantastic wrestler, and WWE television is better when he is champion. I totally agree. And so I see the point here that, yes, Cody Rhodes lost all of these things, and he's still champion anyways. Yes, so the argument can be made that maybe he is a forced top guy, but he's also one of WWE's biggest stars, biggest sellers, biggest movers, biggest ticket movers, biggest draws. So why wouldn't he be champion at WrestleMania? Yes, and so the Bleacher Report also says overall, though, one can just feel the desperation. Maybe that's true. Maybe that is true because ticket sales are very low for WWE right now, so they're desperate. And desperate cause to pull out all the big guns, which is maybe Roman Reigns, CM Punk, which is maybe Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. And so those are all fine arguments to be made about why WWE is doing what they're doing, but the decisions have been made. Now, I guess potentially the Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton match could change due to some stipulations, contracts. I guess Drew McIntyre couldn't put himself in there. What's going to happen with Sami Zayn? Where's Jacob Fatu going to go? How does Nick Aldis play and all this? Sure. But as of right now, those are the matches, and they're one-on-one matches, which I think are better if you're going to have title matches. And so you can make an argument about that, but you can't make an argument about sort of the star power that is in those two matches with those four champions. And so the last thing that Bleacher Report said was, why can't a women's match be in that role as the show closer for the first night? WWE itself probably doesn't even know the answer. The answer is that the women aren't as big. The star power isn't as there, and they cannot. I don't care what you think about women's wrestling. This is an objective fact that Stephanie McMahon and Liv Morgan or Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley cannot put on a main event level match the same caliber as Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. It is not possible. I don't give a fuck what you think about women's wrestling. Now, I'm a huge fan of Liv Morgan. I'm a huge fan of Rhea Ripley. I think Stephanie McCourt is solid. I think Jade Cargill is absolutely abysmal and horrible. But still, with that fact, now if Rhea Ripley was in there with someone else, you could make the argument. But Jade Cargill sucks and can't produce a main event level match at WrestleMania. But if Rhea Ripley was in there with someone else, potentially you could make the argument. If Liv Morgan was in there with someone else, potentially you could make the argument. But with the way the matches are set now, absolutely not. They cannot main event the show. There's no argument to be made about that. And here you read some of the first couple of comments under this tweet. Let me read you the first one. People only want a women's main event because it's women. In what world is Rhea versus Jade and Stephanie versus Liv bigger than Randy Orton versus Cody and Roman versus Punk? They got to stop making it about gender and just realize their faves aren't above everyone else. This is a fact. They only want a women's main event just because they're women, not because they're better or bigger or it's better for the show or anything like that. And that doesn't make any sense. And then we have another one. It's like, stop trashing the best main event match just because you don't like Cody. Randy Orton gave 24 years to this company. These narratives are hurting not only Cody, but also Randy. This is the match that deserves to the WrestleMania main event, so shut up. These are facts. You can make arguments about the legitimacy, how logical it is, the storyline behind it, but these are the matches that we're getting. And Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton and CM Punk versus Roman Reigns are the biggest matches you can have on the card, and there's zero arguments to be made as to the women should replace them as the main event. Get the fuck out of here with that. That's nonsense. You're delegitimizing other points you might make simply because you want the women in the main event, simply because they're women, not because they've earned it or deserved it or can put on a better performance or show or match than what is already installed as the main events. And that's what I think. And so, yeah, anyways, I'd love to know what your comments are on that in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. Then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Lots of love. Cheers.